It is certainly a pleasure to be here today, joining you, and certainly a privilege to be introducing the 2021 TD Insurance Outgoing Fellows, Lana and Kierian. As a partner in the fellowship program, we got the opportunity to review Lana and Kierian's mid-year reports and that outlined all the work that they did at their respective schools. And I know that you're going to be as impressed as we were when they review and share this with you today. It's no doubt that the quality and the quantity of what they've been able to accomplish definitely stands out. But for me, what really stood out was that they were able to complete this work during a very challenging time. They had a lot of COVID starts and stops, and yet both Lana and Kierian continued to move forward and adapt to their changing environment. And this is really the definition of talent. We are all looking for individuals that bring the intellectual component and the emotional maturity to the roles, but we're also looking for resilience. And in a world that continues to change and evolve at an increasing pace, this is a critical capability as we move forward. And when you hear from Lana and Kierian, I'm sure you'll agree that these are talented individuals with very bright futures in advancement. And in fact, they have secured full-time positions with the University of Waterloo and with the University of Lethbridge. And we just could not be more excited about that and more proud. Now, before I hand it over to Lana and Kierian, I just wanted to add a little bit about the fellowship program. We started and established the program in partnership with the CCAE almost 24 years ago. And the purpose was to develop talent for the advancement profession. And it has been very successful, and most fellows have secured full-time positions in the field. I encourage all the member schools to participate in the program. Whether you need the financial support or not, the focus of the program should really be about all of you collectively identifying and developing young talent and building a pipeline for your advancement profession. So again, I do encourage all of you to participate. So Lana and Kierian, congratulations again on the impact that you've had on your schools, and good luck as you start your future role.
Thank you, Anna. I'm going to take that as my cue that I get to start sharing my slides. All right. All right. Can everyone see that?
That's great.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here today and share my journey into advancement, as well as my journey as a TD Insurance Meloche Monnex Advancement Fellow. A journey that I like to say started before I even entered university. Oops. Awesome. So I grew up as a farm kid with big dreams to go to the Olympics for figure skating, actually. Long story short, I was forced to quit due to the cost and had to kind of reimagine life for myself in high school. There, I ended up on a robotics team where I raised hundreds of thousands of dollars each year through what I now know as things like grant writing, fundraising events, and one-to-one solicitations. Fast forward to getting accepted into my dream school, UW, where my youngest sister now attends. They're on screen with me. I ended up as an alumni relations associate at the Faculty of Environment for my very first co-op. This was where I was truly introduced to fundraising as something people got to do for a living and not just as a volunteer. And I was completely hooked. And I ended up working as a development co-op in Guatemala with an NGO that supported Maya Indigenous women and their children. And then I wound back up at UW's Central Office of Advancement for my final 8 months of co-op, where I got to know a lot more about the different facets of advancement in higher ed, and really kind of found my place and realized that was where I wanted to be. And then colleagues started letting me know about this fellowship. So with the help of mentors, I applied for the fellowship, knowing it was going to be pretty competitive and I didn't know what to expect. When I found out, my first thoughts, and I kind of wish they weren't, wait, what? really? I was going to work with two teams I love at my alma mater, which I completely believe in and love, on really exciting and diverse projects. I was going to manage co-op students. Needless to say, I was feeling mixed emotions. I was completely shocked and grateful that I was selected, but then immediately began placing a lot of pressure on myself, and a bit of imposter syndrome kicked in. If I can say anything about this year, is that we made the most of it. Having been given plenty of diverse experiences with opportunity for personal and professional development. Out of all the things that I worked on, I'd like to highlight 3 moments that grew my understanding of advancement, as well as my confidence and adaptability and big picture thinking. The first moment, starting off at the Office of Advancement at the beginning of my fellowship, I was tasked with creating a strategic plan for a hypothetical new parent giving program, as well as a parent council. My first thought was, who am I to be advising on this? So I started with doing a lot of research. I reached out to both Canadian and American institutions, consulted internal units at UW, and compiled processes and came up with a buildable plan. Through this project, I really learned that advancement is a team sport. Everyone from the registrar's office providing student data, to our alumni and donor services team of processing gifts, to our frontline fundraisers, are all a part of making philanthropy possible at our institution. The next moment that I wanted to highlight was my first week at the Faculty of Environment during the second half of my fellowship. This is where I was tasked with creating digital designs and social media copy for a social media campaign building up to a water sustainability event. I'd never done any graphic design before, and I had a really tight deadline, so I was feeling kind of hesitant. I ended up being super impressed with what I was able to produce, and it gave me the confidence to run another social media campaign later on in my fellowship for National Volunteer Week. The final moment that I wanted to highlight was Grad Send-Off. This was the biggest in-person event the faculty had hosted in quite a while, and I was leading the whole thing. There were so many uncertainties around safety protocols. There were so many small details, from the award nominations, certificates, grad gifts, plated meals because we have to be seated in when eating and drinking, name tags, so many different things. And I learned to really be flexible and have a plan A through C, but also be able to work on the fly and leverage the strengths of my team members who were there to support me. I really learned that in my new role as a development officer, I get to work really closely with our alumni relations team, who help provide great alumni speakers for events like these, and so many other ways. I also learned to think about events from a user perspective, kind of like donor centricity when we're writing and just approaching philanthropy in general, and as well as working with the budget and tracking expenses, practical things like that. This was a very involved event, and I was really grateful for the trust that was placed in me to lead it. Although daunting, it was amazing to come out the other end and see it all having come to fruition. Throughout this whole fellowship, I've realized that I firmly believe that we all have unique gifts to share with this world, and this past year helped me confirm that I want to spend my life in advancement in higher education, enabling the work of our researchers and the education of our future change makers. So bit by bit, over the past year, I tackled project types and volumes that I never thought possible for me, growing and stretching like the plants on my balcony during the first half of the fellowship when I was working from home, as you can see on the screen. I was very proud of the tomato plant. I faced a lot of personal roadblocks during the past year, to be quite frank. I felt a lot of self-doubt, worry over the little things, and stress from sometimes caring too much. And talking to other people really helped me feel like I was on the right track, that I was indeed cut out for this work, and that I wasn't alone. And of course, and so I want to thank each and every person that gave me that time and allowed me to be a part of their journey and sharing their journeys with me. And of course, I want to thank CCIE and TD Insurance Meloche Monnex for supporting young advancement professionals like myself and giving them an opportunity to learn from the best advancement professionals at the greatest institutions, being given incredible, well-rounded opportunities for growth. This has truly been a dream come true year for me. Having had a chance to look back at it now, I'm extremely proud and grateful. I've been graced with a fierce determination to go after the things that challenge me. And I've been lucky enough to have had so many supporters along the way who have guided me, believed in me, trusted me, and championed me. I can't wait to raise up the next generation of fellows and watch them have similarly life-changing experiences. Thank you. Oh, one last thing. And thanks to all of you, my future is looking bright. As was mentioned, I'll be staying on at the faculty environment as a development officer, which was kind of the dream at the very beginning of this fellowship. All right, I'll pass it off to my fellow, Kirian Turner now.
Alrighty, can everybody hear me and see my slides?
Looks good, Kirian.
Amazing. So hello everyone, my name is Kierian Turner and I am one of the outgoing fellows for the 2021 year. I would like to thank TD Insurance Meloche Monnex for this opportunity, and I also want to congratulate Lana for her tremendous fellowship year. And I would also like to congratulate the incoming fellows, Catherine and Jaya. I know the four of us have flourishing careers ahead of us. Raised in Winnipeg, I moved to Lethbridge at 18 to pursue an education in music technology. I am passionate about food, traveling, spending time outdoors, and music. I'm a proud alumnus of the University of Lethbridge, graduating with a Bachelor of Music in Digital Audio Arts in the spring of 2020. During my time at U Lethbridge, I was a residence assistant, club executive, student caller, and production coordinator for our campus music festivals. Through the student call center, I contacted thousands of donors to solicit for various funds and shine campaign priorities. This led to the opportunity to work in Alumni Relations Office as a summer student, establishing PACT, our student advancement program. I served as PACT's inaugural president, and this fellowship enabled me to pivot to the staff advisor position for this phenomenal club. A priority for our team was to find ways to celebrate and promote philanthropy on campus. We also wanted to find new ways to support the student to alumni transition, foster institutional pride, and promote the alumni experience. Another goal was to overhaul our existing website and develop a strategy that sets us up for success. Working in alumni relations primarily, my objective was also to build my capacity in marketing and communications, annual giving, and advancement services. Throughout my fellowship, there were several changes to our team and institution. Our workforce was reduced multiple times due to operating grant reductions and the pandemic. The challenges continued with changing vaccine, masking, and testing requirements, a 6-week-long labor disruption, and changing event policies. On a positive note, we welcomed Kathy Greenwood, our new VP Development, Alumni Relations, and Community Engagement, also known as DARE, to lead our small yet mighty team. PACT was established to promote philanthropy, build affinity, and create student-to-alumni connections. We presented at New Student Orientation and hosted PACT Trivia, Write a Letter to Your Future Self, a pronghorn cheering challenge, and several other activities you see in front of you there. We put philanthropy on display at our Student Shine pop-up and supported students through the Buy a Student Breakfast campaign. Our final student program for the year was Sundays on Saturday, a Build Your Own Sunday social where incoming students met with alumni to learn about the student to alumni transition. Our class of 2021 received Convocation in a Box. Our team brainstormed to find unique ways to enhance this convocation experience. We landed on the Alumni Welcome Squad, which tailored unique gifts to each incoming request, the most popular being alumni swag. We adapted AWS to a new format for our spring 2022 in-person ceremonies, having alumni participate in mini games to win swag and discounts on our parchment frames. Also over the last year, I have implemented and marketed several PBC Guru programs. These professional development initiatives complement the existing career programming offered to alumni through our Career Bridge. I then developed a lifelong learning newsletter designed to assist young alumni with this transition to their career. I supported several academic units with list polls for quality assurance reviews, communicated best practices for stakeholder engagement, and recruited alumni participants for research and review activities. I learned about internal systems and processes, including different forms of payments. This went a long way when it came to working with vendors and sponsoring campus activities. I worked with our Affinity partners to update eligibility lists, unsubscribe and exclusion codes, campaign lists, and ensured we remained CASEL and FOIP compliant throughout this entire process. I conducted research into several Affinity partnerships. I developed criteria for evaluating prospective partners, including the quality and frequency of reporting, quality of the benefit to the alum and institution, level of interest in a genuine partnership, length of the desired agreement, and overall brand reputation. We then decided to pursue a partnership with one prospective partner. I fostered an ongoing relationship with this prospective partner, and I worked with them to draft an agreement. They then presented to our Alumni Association, which was voted on and approved. We are now working to finalize this agreement internally with our legal team and launch this partnership in the coming months. I also worked with our relationship manager at TD Insurance to secure sponsorship items for a new student event, an information update campaign for our 2022 grads, and our Encompass launch to alumni. In November of 2021, we celebrated the closing of our Shine campaign, fundraising $100 million and engaging over 20,000 alumni. We hosted 6 different Shine campaign pop-ups that highlighted different areas significantly impacted by Shine. Each pop-up had snacks and refreshments along with campus community members there to talk about the impact of the campaign. We finished the week with an event called Light Up Campus, where we had various stakeholders visit campus to see the illumination of our grove. Our trees were lit up and various ice sculptures were created to enhance the space, one of which was an interactive photo bench, which you can see my partner and I sitting on in the top right corner. Another initiative I worked on was the Hunger Heroes campaign, where students can opt to donate remaining bridge bucks, our campus currency, to the Food for Thought Fund. This fund is used to build programs that tackle campus food insecurity for our students. And when we transitioned from Artes to Anthologies in Compass, our current recurring pledge donors' pledges were canceled. I used my call center skills to follow up with these donors to let them know about the canceled pledge, tell them about the giving form transition, and walk them through setting up a new recurring pledge. In 2021, we participated in Giving Tuesday for the first time to fundraise for Nourish, the overarching brand of food insecurity initiatives on our campus. We successfully fundraised over $17,000 with a matching gift from the Community Foundation, which purchased over 1,000 breakfasts for students and restocked our campus food bank. Our website has not had a consistent strategy and needed a drastic overhaul. Once we pulled a content inventory of our site, we were shocked at the amount of content that lived there. We had 363 active web pages, with pages dating back to 2010 that had not been updated. I began by developing a process to analyze the content, which was then either deleted, unpublished, updated, or deemed evergreen. My goals were to improve SEO, improve user experience, ensure stakeholders find relevant and factual information, reduce the number of clicks from discovery to engagement, and remove any duplicate content. Over the last year, I had many opportunities to participate in and lead several projects across several departments. Our team also spent significant time learning about days of giving and building fundraising campaigns, preparing our team to run our first day of giving. Something I learned this year is that even with everything I know, it's so little compared to the wealth of knowledge out there, and I have so much learning and growing ahead of me. I also learned that it's okay to drop a project, process, or program, which for me was tough at first since I get very emotionally attached to my work. I'm sure many of you can relate to that lesson. I learned that current processes should not determine workflow moving forward, as this can often hinder innovation. A massive lesson for me was to focus on that which I can control and to keep a positive attitude and outlook. This lesson did not come easy. Throughout my fellowship, there was so much out of my control and so much out of our team's control. I let myself become bitter, which had negative impacts on my quality of work, my working relationships, and my overall happiness. Through having difficult conversations with my supervisor, rebuilding trust with the team, and focusing on the positive aspects I could control, I got myself back on the right track. I had my fair share of learning and dealing with adaptive challenges and change management, building resiliency through all of it. Lastly, I learned that especially now with the increased workload and a smaller team, we need to be more strategic to work smarter and not harder. I had the opportunity to participate in several CCAE and CASE conferences, webinars, and summits, learning about best practices in advancement. My favorite of all was the opportunity to attend the national conference that just happened in Niagara Falls, which was also my first in-person advancement conference, where I got to meet several of you. Thank you to all my mentors and colleagues, namely Lindsay Montina and Carissa Hartley, who supported me tremendously throughout this fellowship. Thank you, CCAE and TD Insurance, for the opportunity to learn more about the field of advancement and kickstart my career. I will be joining our development team as the awards officer, and I look forward to growing in new capacities while positively impacting my alma mater. Thank you, and over to you, Derek.
Wow, thank you so much. And congratulations both to you, Kieran, and to Lana. It was great to see both of you in Niagara Falls a couple of weeks ago. And congratulations as well to the University of Waterloo and the University of Lethbridge for supporting and mentoring these two outstanding fellows over the past 12 months. Looks like each of you have had extremely productive years despite the ongoing challenges of the pandemic. And so great to see you both settled in with full-time positions now at your universities. Et félicitations à chacune d'entre vous pour vos récentes nominations. Comme Anna l'a fait remarquer, voilà justement l'objectif du programme de bourse, offrir une année d'expérience formidable qui aide à renforcer les capacités de la profession de l'avancement ici au Canada. And thanks again to Anna, Catherine DeCarry, Max Stiles, Scott Grant, and the full TD Insurance team for their continued support of the fellowship program.